And I'd like to welcome you all out to Billy D. Cook Field, joining us after watching Vardaman's homecoming festivities. Tonight is Senior Appreciation Night here at Calhoun Academy. Sponsors of tonight's ball game is Southern Discount Drugs of Calhoun City, Burgess and Farmers Bank of Bruce, Bruce Telephone Company of Bruce, Parker Brothers Trucking of Derma, Warehouser of Bruce, TDS Telecom Incorporated, Calhoun City Telephone, Calhoun City, Bruce Furniture Industries, a Klausner Company of Bruce, Kelwood Factory Outlet, Calhoun City, Calhoun Apparel Incorporated of Calhoun City, Wicks Big Star of Bruce, Pontotoc Electric Power Association of Bruce, and Smokehouse and Barbecue Company of Bruce, which will be naming our play of the game for the Smokehouse and Barbecue Company. District 23 Representative Joey Grist, Step Saver Pharmacy of Bruce, Tri-State Termite, and Pest Control Clarksdale.
Father, we do praise you for this beautiful day that you've given us. Lord, we thank you for the opportunities. We can come out on a wonderful night, Lord, to participate in high school sports. Lord, I ask that you just give us safe.
And to finish off our list of sponsors tonight, Gersony Rebel Motors of Oxford, Hunter Hollows also of Oxford, and Hawkins Motor Company of Calhoun City. Once again, I'd like to welcome you all who are watching the homecoming festivities from Carter Field in Vardaman. And we'd like to invite you out or welcome you to Senior Appreciation Night here at Calhoun Academy. Cougars won the toss and deferred to the second half, so Cougars will be kicking it off to start things here. The Cougars are sporting a 3-5 record, which is they are on an extreme chance for a playoff spot if they can pick up a win tonight here against the 6-2 Central Holmes Trojans, and then can pick up a win on the road against Winona Christian. It appears that the senior, number 51, Joel Bryant, is set to tee it off here for the Cougars. It's a low kick to number 14 for Central Holmes. We do not have a list of their names here. It was not supplied to us in the program, but he returned it back out to the 35-yard line. Tackle was made by number 81, Jeremy Brown. Along with him was another host of Cougars. Joining me tonight on camera is Nick Thompson. I was expecting to be joined by one more tonight here helping me out with commentary, Marshall Browning, but he is yet to show up. Give him a little time, he might show up. So it's first down and 10 to go. Single running back. It appears the Trojans tried a little quick sneak there up the middle, but nothing doing as the Cougars was there quick to stop them for a loss. Number 55, Cody Weeks. Appears a loss of about 3 on the play, so it'll be second down and 13 to go. Along with Weeks on the tackle that time was number 40, Matthew White. White also a senior for this Cougar squad this year. Second down and 13 to go for the Trojans. 2 in the backfield. Back to pass is the Trojans. He airs it out and he connects for the first down as he gets past the 50-yard line. No problem there as he had a little pressure in the backfield but was able to get it off and complete it for the first down. Ran out of bounds by number 12, Kenneth Thart, also a senior on this squad.
Tackle maybe number 12, Kenneth Thart, to a first down, Central Holmes.
So it's first down, 10 to go. A pitch out to number 32 as he's looking for some running room and is able to slip and avoid tackles and getting good blocking there. But there finally is a host of Cougars on the tackle. I was just informed that this Central Holmes Trojans team, the quarterback, is leading the state in passing touchdowns, and the receiver, Doug Hooker, number 24, is leading the state in touchdown receptions. So this Cougars is facing a mighty good 6-2 Central Holmes Trojans team. So it's first down and 10 to go as they picked up 2 consecutive first downs in a row, having no trouble early in the ball game moving the ball against this Calhoun Academy defense. Of course, a big factor for this Calhoun Academy team is the injury to 2 of their key players in number 31, Rushy Stegall, number 10, Pepper Watts. Stegall questionable of ever playing again as he's had some serious neck injuries this season. And there is the connection right there, as we was talking about earlier, from the leading quarterback, adding one more to his stat. For number 24, adding another one, leading the touchdowns in connections between the two. So Central Holmes, no trouble with 10 minutes and 11 seconds left here. 6-0 is your score, moving the ball down the field easily. And the point after attempt is also good. So it's 10 minutes and 11 seconds left here in the first quarter. Your score is 7-0. Central Holmes having no trouble on the first possession of the ball game. And with that, we are going to go to a break. Roseman is set to kick things off here for the Trojans as they quickly move the ball down the field to score with a pass reception, which has been the key for them the whole season, as their quarterback is leading the state in touchdown passes, and their receiver, number 24, is leading in touchdown receptions. Number 12, Kenneth Tharp, on the return, has a good hole up the middle, saw a good piece of daylight, and brought the ball out to the 35-yard line, so a good piece of running there by number 12 for the Cougars, Kenneth Tharp. That is where the Cougars will take over first and 10. As I was speaking of earlier, key injuries for the Cougars, especially on offense, is number 31, Rushy Stegall, who started off the season being a workhorse for the Cougars, carrying the ball and getting a good piece of running. He was a good, strong, physical runner. And also, this number 10, Pepper Watts, a good key defensive player there, also injured with an ankle injury. Pitch out is to number 12, Kenneth Tharp. Avoids one tackle, but is hit hard as he looks like he goes forward for a gain of maybe getting back to the regular line of scrimmage. So it's no gain on the play. I'd like to invite you all to stay tuned for the games following this one tonight here on TV7 Bruce, TV 34 Calhoun City. Starting quarterback for the Cougars is going to be Josh Chandler. Give is to the first man through, number 40, Matthew White. Matthew White, that's really been his story for the whole season this year, just taking the ball and trying to get a quick strike up the middle to see if he can get anything busted open for a big gain, as he only gained 3 yards that time. Make it 3rd down and 7 to go for the Cougars. Jeremy Brown checks into the ball game. Going out to receiver. Chandler's looking to pass. He rolls out, just overthrown to a wide open number 40, Matthew White. So that's going to bring up 4th down and 7 to go. We're going to see if what Coach King elects to do. He should be electing to punt this one away. It appears that the Cougars have number 78, Kevin Flemings, back to punt it away, as Rusty Stegall was doing the punting until he was injured. Low snap went between his legs. So there's just the first example of someone not used to doing what he did tonight and just let the snap roll through his legs. So there is a break for the Central Home Trojans. Really something you do not want to see if you're a Cougar fan there. As easy as the Trojans moved down the field last time for a score. First down and 10 for the Trojans. Right on the 12-yard line. Trojans rolling out to pass. The receiver slipped down, but he's able to get back up. Quarterback trying to fake something out of nothing. Finally just tucks it under and tries to get out of bounds as he is tackled by a whole host of Cougars that time. He's looking for his receiver that he's connected with most this season, leading the state with touchdown receptions, number 24, but he has slipped down. It appears that Jeremy Brown made the tackle that time for the Cougars. Give it to the second man through, number 32, which has nowhere going. As it appears, number 78, Kevin Flemings, the big man on the tackle that time.
Number 32, Gary Austin on the carry.
Austin was the ball carrier. Also in on the tackle that time for the Cougars was number 55, Cody Weeks. 3rd down and 11 to go, as the ball is marked on the 13-yard line. Fade route into the corner of the end zone is connected to number 32. Gary Austin on the reception that time. It looks like Central Holmes is just going to do what they do best and pass the ball into the end zone, as that is the second touchdown pass thrown here with just 7:51 left in the first quarter. Your score is 13-0. The point after attempt is up, and it is good. So once again, Central Holmes with no problem moving the ball down the field for the score. Your score 14-0. Cougars leading early big here in this ball game, and we'll be back after this break. And we're back as they tee it off here for the Central Holmes Trojans. It goes back to number 21, Brian Allen. Brian Allen looked to go down along the sideline, wrestled out of bounds by number 32, Gary Austin. So once again, the Cougars take over at about the 25-yard line. First down and 10 to go for the Cougars. Josh Chandler is your quarterback. Matthew White and Kenneth Tharp in the backfield. Jeremy Brown is one of your receivers. Give is to the first man through, number 40, Matthew White, the senior. powering his way ahead for looks like a gain of about 5 on the play. We'll say 4. Make it 2nd down and 6 to go.
Gain of about 4 for Trojan, bring it 2nd down 6.
Josh Chandler, your quarterback, again the same in the backfield. Give this time to the second man through, Kenneth Tharp, who was originally your quarterback for the Cougars but had to take over the running back position after the injuries to Watts and Stegall. Kenneth Tharp he had a great arm on him. Of course, unfortunately for the Cougars, they're not going to be able to use that tonight as he's having to take over the running back position. Jeremy Brown checks the play into the ball game.
3rd down 4 for the Cougars.
3rd down and 4 to go. Give it to the second man through. Had a hold there for a second, but was tripped up by number 5 as he's able to wrap his arms around his legs to take him out from under him. It appears that it's going to be close to a 1st down. Well, they just had to get just to the 35-yard line.
Close to a 1st down.
And the chain gain is coming out. And the Cougars did pick up the 1st down, so there's a good part for the Cougars. Able to just chip away at this Central Holmes defense and move the ball down the field and pick up the 1st down. Of course, as I said, this is Senior Appreciation Night here at Calhoun Academy. It will be taking you to the, I guess you could say, the Senior Appreciation ceremonies afterwards, as this is the last home ball game for the Cougars. They'll have one more left on the road against Winona Christian. And there is the carry by Kenneth Tharp as he fought forward for a gain of about 3 yards. We'll say 2nd down and 7 to go.
Gain about 3, but 2nd down and 7 for the Cougars.
Josh Chandler brings the Cougars up to the line of scrimmage. He is your quarterback. In the backfield is White and Tharp. Give it to the 1st man through, and nothing doing as he was hit hard by number 28, Bear Roseman. So it appears he may have lost a yard on the play, and the officials are wanting a timeout. It is going to be a water timeout. And we'll take that timeout with them. 14-0 is your score with 5 minutes and 15 seconds left here in the 1st quarter. And we're back. It's 3rd down and 7 to go for the Cougars. Josh Chandler still your quarterback. White and Kenneth Tharp in the backfield. In motion is number 21, Brian Allen. Chandler is back to pass. He unloads over the middle, but it's incomplete. Intended for number 24, Thomas Card, the senior for this Cougars team. So that's going to bring up 4th down and 7 to go. Coach Jeff Ting talking to Brian Allen, number 21. He's also a senior as he's bringing in the play to the Cougars. And it appears the Cougars is going to go for it on 4th down and 7 to go after the results of what happened on the last time they tried to punt. So Chandler brings the team up to the line of scrimmage. Brown is one of your receivers along with White and Tharp in the backfield. Chandler rolls out looking for someone to air it out to as he airs out over the middle to Thomas Card. To Thomas Card, picking up a key block there by Jeremy Brown. Big play that time by the Cougars. Good call by Jeff King, going for it on 4th down and 7 to go. Huge play there for the Cougars. So a gain of well over 40 yards that time. Thomas Card being drugged down appears about the 1 yard line. So there is what could, I guess you could say, break it open for the Cougars. Just 1 or 2 big plays like that, and you can be back in this ball game. 3 men in the backfield. And it's a quarterback sneak up the middle for the score. So the Cougars come back and strike quickly, as did the Trojans. Cougars going for it on 4th down and 7 to go. Really paid off. It looked like Thomas Card was going to break long for the touchdown. So we'll see if the Cougars are going to try the point after attempt or if they're just going to go for 2. It appears they are going to be going for 2. Josh Chandler, your quarterback. White, Tharp, and Allen in the backfield. Give to the last man through. Nothing doing as he is hit hard. And it's stopped on the 2-point conversion. So the Cougars strike back quickly with 4:33 here left in the first quarter. Your score is 14-6. We'll keep it here as we read from our sponsors. Sponsoring Senior Appreciation Night here from Billy D. Cook Field is Southern Discount Drugs, Calhoun City, Merchants and Farmers Bank of Bruce, Bruce Telephone Company of Bruce, Parker Brothers of Derma, Warehouser of Bruce, TDS Telecom Incorporated, Calhoun City Telephone in Calhoun City, Bruce Furniture Industries, a Klausner Company of Bruce, Kelwood Factory Outlet of Calhoun City, Calhoun Apparel Incorporated of Calhoun City, Weeks Big Star Bruce, Pontoc Electric, a Power Association of Bruce. And naming our player of the game this tonight is going to be sponsored by the Smokehouse and Barbecue Company of Bruce. And we're back to action as Joel Bryant, the senior, is set to tee it off here for the Cougars.
Number 51, Joel Bryant, kick off for the Cougars.
A low kick there by Joel Bryant, but is covered up quickly by number 70 for the Brandon Abel for the Trojans. Ball is marked down on the Trojans' 43-yard line. The Cougars' defense really needs to step up here because that was a big play they just got out of their defense. Of course, one of the big problems is going to be the shortage of players on this Cougar team, as they only have 4 players dressed out on the sideline. So you have many playing both ways, which is going to wear them down by the end of the ball game. So that's going to be a big factor also. And the Trojans are going to do what they do best and air it out to pass it, but that time it was incomplete. Diggs' pass was incomplete was intended for number 24, Hooker.
Number 21, Brian Allen.
On coverage was Brian Allen and Josh Chandler. You know, Brian Allen has his hands full tonight trying to cover Doug Hooker as he's leading the state in touchdown receptions. So it's 2nd down and 10 to go for the Trojans. It's a fumble on the snap. And it appears that the Trojans was able to cover up for it. And Diggs, who fumbled the snap, recovered it for himself, so he's making up for that mistake. So it's going to be 3rd down and 10 to go. You know, as you saw just then, the Trojans really don't want them to take and kill themselves and doing mistakes as they just did then, because the Cougars quickly scored and strike. And they may be overlooking this Cougar team as they have a big matchup against North Sunflower next week. So that's one thing they cannot do. They're trying to, I guess, draw the Cougars offline, offsides, and so they call a timeout. The rest of our sponsors for tonight's ball game is going to be District 23 Representative Joey Grist, Step Saver Pharmacy of Bruce, Tri-State Termite and Pest Control of Clarksdale, Grisanti Rebel Motors of Oxford, Hunters Hollow also of Oxford, and Hawkins Motor Company of Calhoun City. So the Cougars scoring a big strike, or set up to scoring a big strike to Thomas Card. Over a 40-yard connection between Chandler and Card as he brought it down to the 2-yard line. The Chandler just tucked it under afterwards and took it in for the score. The Cougars were unsuccessful on the 2-point conversion. And that brings your score up to 14-6. Of course, the quarterback for Central Holmes, Diggs, collecting on 2 touchdown passes already tonight. One to the leading touchdown receiver in the state, number 24, Doug Hooker, and the other to Greg Austin, just adding 2 more to his statistics as he leads the state in touchdown passes. 3:47 here left in the first quarter. And back to pass again. was Diggs. And he had his man, number 32, Gary Austin. He just had it bounce off the back of his head. As number 21, Brian Allen, was just trying to slap it away. Possibly could have picked up an interception that time, but good job on him just trying to slap it away and bring up 4th down and 10 to go. Back to receive is going to be number 25, Josh Chandler. It's a high snap, and it was almost blocked by Thomas Card, the senior. Goes off to the side. Josh Chandler acted like he's going to run up and get it, but just let it die down at about the 25-yard line. So that has been the spot where the Cougars have taken over all night tonight, on the 25-yard line. Cougars looking to have another big strike like they did last time as they connected with Thomas Card for a big touchdown reception. I mean, not a touchdown reception, but a pass connection to set up the touchdown ran in by Josh Chandler. Chandler is your quarterback. White and Tharp in the backfield. Give to the first man through, White, and he just blows his way up the middle. Appears that he gained about 4 on the play, so we'll say 2nd down and 6 to go. Paul Brown checks the play into the ball game for the Cougars. Coach King just sending in 2 different receivers between Jeremy Brown and Paul Brown. I guess he's calling the Brown connection as they bring it in the play to Josh Chandler. Each switch. Giving us the 2nd man through, Kenneth Tharp. Good spin move that time. As Tharp thought it was a fumble, but the referees let him stay up there for a long time before they blew the whistle, but as it should have been, they caught him down. So Kenneth Tharp with a good spin move was able to move forward and pick up the 1st down. So the Cougars are looking good here on offense after they struggled the first possession. 2:42 here left in the first quarter. 14-6 is your score. 1st down and 10 to go for the Cougars. Jeremy Brown is your receiver. White and Tharp is in the backfield. Chandler is your quarterback. Give it to the first man through, White. White just had his legs taken out from under him by number 4 for the Trojans. But he's able to go forward for what he's averaging tonight of about 4 yards of play, which is what you would like to see out of him. Just pick up that chunk each time. So it's 2nd down and 6 to go. Paul Brown is your receiver. Allen is your flanker. Quarterback is Chandler. White and Tharp in the backfield. Give again this to the first man through, but this time nothing doing as it looks like he may have gained a yard on the play. Stopped by number 28. Roseman for the Trojans. 3rd down and 5 to go is it's a situation for the Cougars. You know, Jeff King gambled on it last time and went for it on the big 4th down play after, I guess you could say it was a bad snap and catch by the punter that set up the 2nd touchdown for the Trojans. Try a little misdirection play that time, nothing doing. As maybe he got back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a loss of a yard. Kenneth Tharp, the ball carrier. It appeared that he lost about a yard, so it'll be 4th down and 6 to go. So the Cougars connected last time on a big 4th down play. Let's see if they can go for it again here. They connect again big. Of course, you know, they connected with Thomas Carr, the tight end. Jeremy Brown is your one receiver and Allen's the other. Chandler's back to pass. Pass is low. He was intended for Thomas Card. He had went out far enough to get the 1st down. If it would have thrown a little bit higher, he would have picked up the 1st down. So the Cougars go out on downs and go over to the defensive end. The only person that checks out for the Cougars on defense is going to be number 75, Jonathan Stegall, the 10th grader. And they send in number 72, Brandon Lofton. So not a massive substitution there on defense and offense between the Cougars, as they only have 4 men dressed out on the sidelines. Of course, injury is what's plagued them this year. Of course, they had one player quit. Appears that the give was to the first man through, number 44, Stephen Reams.
Number 44, Stephen Reams on the carry for the Trojans. Tackle made by number 55, Cody Weeks.
Cody Weeks on the tackle. Now checking in for defense is Bradley Campbell, checking in for number 78, Kevin Flemings. And the dangerous receiver out to the right side in Hooker. As the horn sounds, he airs it out to Hooker just too long, off just out of the fingertip reach of Hooker. Hooker, a good diving attempt that time as Diggs left him a little too far. So the Cougars hanging in there to this 6-2 team out of Central Holmes. 14-6 is your score, and we'll be back with your second quarter of action here from Billy D. Cook Field.
Going to be the end of the first quarter.
And we're back as we're ready to start the second quarter of action. Trojans have a third down and appears to be 8 to go. That's a little reverse ran that time by the Trojans, picked up that time quickly by number 25, Josh Chandler. Bear Roseman was the ball carrier that time. Trojans were trying a little trick play that time, but Chandler was able to pick up on it quickly and stop him. So it's fourth down, and I will say about 6 to go. We'll say a long 5 for the Trojans. And the Trojans, much like the Cougars, is going to go for it on fourth down. Diggs is your quarterback. Rolls out looking for his man Hooker. He airs it out, and it's just overthrown. Hooker, which has been the story the whole night. Hooker just diving for each ball, so he's given a good effort as it was just overthrown once again. So much like the Cougars, the Trojans go out on downs that time. The Cougars need to take advantage of these miscues here between the quarterback and the receiver as they're leading the state in touchdown receptions and touchdown throws. They really need to take advantage of this and put some points on the board. As you think, as these two are doing such a good job this season, that it's not going to be very much longer if they're not going to be able to get their rhythm back into each other and start connecting on some of the passes. So it's going to be first down and 10 to go for the Cougars. Ball is marked on about the 37-38 yard line. Sherman Brown is your receiver. In the backfield is White and Tharp. Give this to the second man through. Tharp, he slides his way forward. Good piece of running, just putting his hand in front of him and falling forward. Good job of lead blocking that time by number 51, the senior Joel Bryant, as Tharp picks up about 9 yards on the play. So the Cougars able to move the ball here of late, just not able to connect on a few passes on the fourth down conversion that last time. Second down, I want to say a short 2 to go. Paul Brown is your receiver. Allen, the flanker. In the backfield is White and Tharp. Quarterback is still Josh Chandler. In motion is Allen. The give is going to be the first man through, and he is hit hard by that Trojans line that time. Upended was White, as it appeared no gain on the play. Trojans were just waiting on that play that time as they expected it to be going to White, as that's been the case with him the whole night, just getting it up the middle and trying to power his way forward. Just the Trojans went low and took his wheels out from under him and stopped him for no gain. So it's going to be third down. I would say a solid 2 to go. Jeremy Brown checks in as your receiver. Still in the backfield is White and Tharp. Quarterback is still Josh Chandler. Chandler decides to tuck this one under on his own, and he does pick up the first down, so good play call there by Coach King as Chandler just gets the snap and slithers his way forward for the first down. I'd like to remind everyone, coming up this Thursday, the junior high Cougars are playing a bowl game between the District 2 champions, the Soto Vikings. First time in a while we have seen the Cougars actually have a successful team as they have this year with an undefeated junior high team. So that has to be looking up for the program coming in the future as Tharp gets the ball and tries to fight his way forward for everything he can gain that time. And Tharp is down. And it appears that he is not moving, as it looks like he took a pretty hard lick that time as he was being held up by one of the Trojan defenders. And with this injury, we will go to a timeout. And we're back as you see Kenneth Tharp able to walk off the field on his own wheel that time. So good thing to see there by Tharp able to walk it off. Hopefully for the Cougars, he'll be able to get back into the ball game. So now Brian Allen running in the play to Josh Chandler. We should see Allen taking the place of Tharp in the backfield. But as I said, I believe it's going to be number 24, Thomas Card, checking in his spot. So Card's in the backfield now for the Cougars, along with White. And Card gets the first give of the game. Thomas Card coming in the ball game and taking a big chunk, showing that he can step up and play. As Thomas Card appears picks up the first down for the Cougars. So the senior, Thomas Card, first carry of the ball game, picks up about 11 or 12 on the play. It appears to be an official's timeout, or Central Holmes may have called a timeout. So we'll give you a rundown of our sponsors as we just gave you a break. Tonight's sponsors of this Calhoun Academy Central Holmes matchup. Senior Appreciation Night here at Billy D. Cook Field is Southern Discount Drugs of Calhoun City, Merchants and Farmers Bank of Bruce, Bruce Telephone Company of Bruce, Parker Brothers Trucking of Derma, Warehouser of Bruce, TDS Telecom Incorporated, Calhoun City Telephone of Calhoun City, Bruce Furniture Industries, a Klausner Company of Bruce, Kelwood Factory Outlet, Calhoun City, Calhoun Apparel Incorporated of Calhoun City, Weeks Big Star of Bruce, Pontoc Electrical Power Association of Bruce, and Smokehouse and Barbecue Company of Bruce. And we also like to make sure all y'all go out and thank our sponsors of tonight's ball game. Of course, we'll be naming the Smokehouse and Barbecue Company's player of the game. Of course, the player of the game will receive a free meal from the Smokehouse. And the give that time is to the first man through, Matthew White.
Tackle made by number 28, Rosman.
Tackle made by number 28, Roseman. Jeremy Brown checks the play in for the Cougars. Card and White in the backfield. Allen and Paul Brown is your receivers. Give us the second man through. Card this time nothing doing, as he may have got back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a loss of one. As three Trojans was quick to the ball that time and stop him before he's able to pass the line of scrimmage. So it's going to bring up third down. And about 7 to go. We'll say a long 7. Josh Chandler is your quarterback. White and Card in the backfield. Allen in motion. Pitch out to Card. Card trying to cut it back up quickly. Breaking the first tackle in the backfield, but he's able to pick up maybe a yard on the play. So it's going to be fourth down. And I'm going to say about 6 to go. So the Cougars are wanting a timeout now, as Jeff King is going to talk things over about doing for this fourth down play. Of course, this is where the Cougars had their big play last time to go ahead and get the quarterback sneak in for the touchdown. So again, Cougars looking for a big play on this fourth down conversion. I'd like for everyone to stay tuned tonight. Just to highlight some of the ball games going on this week, or going on tonight and around this area. The big matchup, of course, is the undefeateds in Houston between Shannon and Houston. Of course, that's going to be a big matchup to see who's going to make the playoffs. Really, truly, I guess you can say the one that loses tonight is going to have a tougher way of going at it to make it into the playoffs. So that's going to be a key matchup tonight in Houston. Of course, you got Bruce traveling to Coffeyville. Coffeyville being a much improved team than for what they have been in the past. Coffeyville sporting a 3-4 record, and Bruce only lost to Houston. So that's saying a lot for Bruce that time, as they're undefeated, as Houston is undefeated. Of course, you got Calhoun City, who is 4-3 on paper, but on the field is 6-1. They're hosting Hamilton 4-2 tonight in Calhoun City. And back to the action here at Billy D. Cook Field. Little fumble on the handoff that time, but good job by Thomas Card to hold on to the ball, but I don't know if it was enough for the first down. Thomas Card lost it on the additional catch, but was able to wrestle it back in for the reception. So it's going to be short of the first down by about 3 yards. So it's going to be turnovers on downs once again, but good catch that time by Thomas Card. So it's going to be first down and 10 to go for the Trojans. Ball is only about the 20, we'll say the 30-yard line. Of course, one of the big players you have to look out for here is going to be number 24, Hooker. And Diggs completes it to Hooker, but he steps out of bounds. As the Cougars had a little confusion that time on defense, as Jeremy Brown did a good heads-up play that time of quickly getting out on Hooker, even though that was not his man. And I believe the Cougars are wanting a timeout as they're confused on defense of what kind of place they're supposed to be set up on defense. And with that break, we'll take one with them. 7:05 here in the left until halftime. 14-6 is your score. And we're back as it's first down and 10 to go after that big connection between Diggs and Hooker that time. Of course, that's been the big connection tonight for the Trojans. And back again to pass is Diggs as he airs it out over the middle. Has a man, but it's just off his fingertips. Took his eyes off the ball and started running before he had it. Was number 5. The tight end, but it fell incomplete as he took his eyes off the ball and tried to run without having it. Something you do not want to do. Had 6 written all over it that time for the Trojans, but lucky for the Cougars, pass fell incomplete. So that's going to make it second down and 10 to go. Diggs is your quarterback. Hooker goes to the far side. And there it is, the connection trying to cook up that time. It appears that Allen just lost Hooker that time as he looked up to the ball. Hooker was able to stop and bring that one in. As the tackle is made by number 81, Jeremy Brown, and number 21, Brian Allen. Allen's got his hands full tonight, guarding number 24, Hooker. I believe Coach King was wanting a double team on Hooker that time, but was not able to get it across to his team. One of the other defenders to switch over there with Allen, and that killed the Cougars. It's a big connection, and once again between Diggs and Hooker, picks up another first down. Play action fake as he throws it across the middle to the tight end. Incomplete. Good job of Jeremy Brown that time, trying to break that one up, which just could not be pulled in by the tight end. Both Brown and the tight end tried to dive for it, so it's still up for grabs. Pass fell incomplete, so it'll be second down and 10 to go. Diggs is your quarterback. Hooker is on the far side.
Come on, Brad, you ain't rushing.
Diggs decides to tuck it under that time and run it. He almost ran it in for the touchdown. Diggs showing that he has good speed also, as well as a good arm. Of course, Kenneth Tharp being injured in the ball game still has not checked back in yet, so that's going to be another key injury for the Cougars.
30-yard line, Cougars.
Ball appears to be marked down about the 5-yard line. Hooker comes to your near side of the field. Guarded by number 25, Josh Chandler, as the ball is given up the middle. Host of Cougars on the tackle that time. Leading the way is the senior Thomas Carter, number 24. Along with him is number 72, Brandon Lofton.
Number 32, Jerry Austin on the carry. Tackle made by number 72, Brandon Lofton.
Austin was the ball carrier. It's appeared that he moved forward for a gain of about 4 yards. Be second out and goal to go from the 1-yard line. The give is again up the middle, but they could not get it in. Cougars line holding strong that time. As leading the way that time again was Matthew White on the tackle. Along with him was number 63, Bradley Campbell, and 55, Cody Weeks. Third down and goal to go from the 1 yard line. Diggs decides to keep this one under on the option. Is hit hard by Card, but was not able to wrap up as it looked like he hit his own player that time, number 51, Joel Bryant. But Diggs was able to tuck it under and take it in for the touchdown, making your score 20-6, 5:14 left until halftime here, Senior Appreciation Night at Calhoun Academy.
Number 28, Bear Roseman, keeps the PAT for the Trojans.
Bear Roseman to attempt the PAT. The kick is up and is good. He is 3 for 3 on the night. So that makes your score 21-6, 5:14 left here until halftime at Billy D. Cook Field. And we'll take a break and be back after this. And we're back as Bear Roseman is set to kick it off for the Trojans. Good kick. Appears that it's going to go back to number 21, Brian Allen. Allen looking for some blockers. Finally sees a hole on the far side, but closes up quickly as the Trojans get the tackle, and it looks like they bring him down about the 20-yard line. We will say the 21. Gary Austin on the tackle for the Trojans. This Trojans team really truly is consisted of 4 key players. The only names I've called tonight is between Diggs, Hooker, Austin, and Roseman. Has really been the 4 big players for Central Holmes tonight. Of course, Diggs is the quarterback leading the state in touchdown passes, and Hooker leading the state in touchdown receptions. Chandler is your quarterback. Card in the backfield gets the pitch. Is able to pull it under as it was a little wide. Card just ducks his head and gets whatever he could out of it. It appears that he goes forward for a gain of about 3 yards, so we'll say second down and a long 7 to go.
Gain about 2, but second down 8.
Second down and a long 7 to go. Chandler is your quarterback. White and Card in the backfield. Allen in motion. Give it to the second man through. Card breaking 2 tackles in the backfield. Was able to go forward. It looks like for a gain of maybe 1 yard. We'll give him credit for 2 as he got the ball up to about the 25-yard line. So it'll be third down and 6 to go. I'd like to remind everyone to come out and support the junior high Cougars Thursday as they're going for a perfect season against the DeSoto Vikings in a bowl game. The Cougars, of course, winning Division 1A in junior high, and the Vikings winning Division 2A. As Chandler rolls out looking to pass, pass was bounced off the face mask of White. It looked like Chandler was just got a little rush to get rid of the ball that time. So the pass falls incomplete. That's going to bring up fourth down and 7 to go. Cougars are in a situation where they're going to have to go to punt it this time. See if Flemings is able to hold on to the ball this time. If you give me a little bit of better of a snap. Good snap that time. Flemings gets it away. Good kick by Flemings as it bounces at the 40 and takes a Cougar roll. Chandler back trying to hold up the man. Big block there by the Trojans, but there is a flag on the play. First time the hanky has been thrown tonight. So we'll see that one might be coming back against the Trojans. But a big return that time, and it is against the Trojans, so that's going to bring it back. Appears it's going to be clipping against the Trojans. So bring that good run back by number 32, Gary Austin, back across the 50-yard line to about the 47.
They go to first down and 10, ball on about their own 47-yard line.
Diggs is back to pass, airs it out over the middle, has his tight end. This time he pulls it under, and he is going to take it in for the touchdown. So even though they backed him up, they strike quickly to make the score 27-6. And Diggs is doing what he does best this season, connecting once again on a touchdown pass to his tight end. Number 28, Roseman, to see if he could go 4 for 4 on the night. So far has not missed one. And keeps his true 4 for 4 on the night on the point after attempts. And we'll be back after this. Adam Gore and Nick Thompson welcoming you back to Billy D. Cook Field as Bear Roseman kicks it off here for the Trojans. As the Trojans have striked on another touchdown pass. Brian Allen looking for somewhere to go, fighting his way forward to about the 32-33 yard line. Best starting position for the Cougars tonight off a kickoff return. So Cougars looking to get something, at least go in with another score before halftime. 28-6 is your score. 3:14 left here until halftime. Senior Appreciation Night here at Billy D. Cook Field. I'd like to remind everyone to stay tuned for the festivities for Senior Appreciation. And also stay tuned as we name our Smokehouse and Barbecue Company's player of the game. Chandler back in the shotgun. Looks like the Cougars want to go to the passing attack. Had to get away from it. Gets a screen to Thomas Card. Thomas Carr doing a good job of breaking tackles and fighting his way forward to about the 40-yard line. So Thomas Carr doing a good job of just fighting for what he could get that time. Break up second down and about 4 to go.
About 7. Down 3.
Cougars have switched to the shotgun formation. Chandler in the shotgun as your quarterback. In the backfield is Card and White. Receivers is Allen and Brown. Little draw play that time was unsuccessful as Central Holmes brought everybody in the kitchen sink that time going after Chandler, as it appears they stopped him just at the original line of scrimmage. King on the stop for the Trojans. Chandler in the shotgun. Paul Brown and Allen as your receivers. Card and White in the backfield. Chandler looking to pass. Airs it out to Allen. And it is completed. Cougars fan thought he might not have caught it that time. You know, one thing you want to look for right here if you're the Cougars, the Trojans are really not bringing any heat from the right side, and that could just leave open a little dump out pass to Card. That could be open. But that was a good pass that time to Chandler to Allen to pick up the first down. Cougars are at the 45-yard line. First down and 10 to go with 1:38 and counting left until halftime. Chandler still in the shotgun. White and Card in the backfield. Chandler rolls out. Airs it out to Jeremy Brown. Jeremy Brown doing a good catch as he was double teamed that time and hit as soon as he caught it. Jeremy Brown slow getting up. But Brown was able to pick it up to about the 50-yard line, just shy. A gain of 5 yards. Going to be about second down and a long 5 to go. And we have a timeout on the field. And we'll keep it here as we give you a rundown of our sponsors of tonight's ball game. Sponsors of Senior Appreciation Night here at Calhoun Academy is Southern Discount Drugs of Calhoun City, Burchett and Farmers Bank Bruce Telephone Company of Bruce, Parker Brothers Trucking of Derma, Warehouser of Bruce, TDS Telecom Incorporated of Calhoun City Telephone, Bruce Furniture Industries, a Klausner Company, Kelwood Factory Outlet of Calhoun City, Calhoun Apparel Incorporated of Calhoun City, Weeks Big Star of Bruce, Pontotoc Electric and Power Association of Bruce, Smokehouse and Barbecue Company of Bruce, District 23 Representative Joey Grist, Step Saver Pharmacy of Bruce, Tri-State Termite and Pest Control of Clarksdale, Gorsanti Rebel Motors of Bruce, Hunter Hollow, also Gorsanti Rebel Motors of Oxford, Hunter's Hollow also of Oxford, and Hawkins Motor Company of Calhoun City. Be sure and go by and thank all of our sponsors for bringing you this Calhoun Academy action tonight. Second down and 5 to go. Chandler still in the shotgun, rolls back to pass. Could not get rid of it. As number 50 got the sack. Big loss of about 15 on the play. Ball is marked at about the 37. That was originally on the 50. Cougars in a hurry up. As it appears that all the Cougars were on the side of the same line of scrimmage. False start against the Cougars, so it's going to be a 5-yard penalty. Back them up even more. Be third down and a long way to go. That's what we'll call it. Third down and I'm going to say at least 23 to go. We'll say 24. Cougars having a little confusion in the backfield. Chandler in the shotgun. Gets a snap from the center, Joel Bryant. Give us the first man through. White really don't understand that little play right there. It's just third down and 24 going with the draw play. Not really going to catch this Trojans offense off their guard as they're just sending everybody after Chandler that time. So the middle is not going to be open like that. So that's going to bring up fourth down and 24 to go for the Cougars. 19 seconds and counting left until halftime. I don't believe the Cougars are going to try to get off a play here. Your score 28-6. 9 seconds left and counting. And the Cougars are going to go one more last play. As Chandler airs it out to Allen. Allen just off his fingertips, could not pull it in, but it would not have mattered anyway because he wouldn't have been able to run it in for the touchdown as he's knocked down by the Trojans defenders. So the Cougars are going into halftime down 28-6, and we'll be back with your second half of action here from Billy D. Cook Field after this. Touchdown passes, and his receiver, Doug Hooker, is leading the state in touchdown receptions. Josh Chandler is your quarterback in the second half, as he was the first half. The shotgun gives off to number 12. It appears Kenneth Clark, who was injured in the first half.
The boy is kind of soft on the carry for the Cougars. Tackle maybe number 4. To a panic.
We'll say 8 yards, so it'll be second down and 9 to go for the Cougars. About to Remind everyone to stay tuned after the ball game as we go inside for the senior appreciation festivities. Chandler now moves up under center, White and Card in the backfield. They'll make that clock. Clock's going looked like they got away with a little hold that time as the pass was intended for number 24.
Number 12, Kenneth Starr on the half-back pass, intended for number 24, Thomas Starr. Ball is incomplete.
Before the injuries, they really got to the Cougars. Clark has a good arm on him. Just 33 cards that time. Looks like he got a little bit of hold walking down the field. No flag is thrown. So the play stands 3rd down and 9 to go. Chandler goes back to the shotgun, looking to pass. Jeffkin was lobbying for the completion. The official said it hit the ground.
25, John Chandler pass is in number 21, Brian Allen. Ball is incomplete.
That could be 4th down and 9 to go. And now we're back. We had a little technical difficulties. So Josh Chandler still in the shotgun for the Cougars. Brown and Allen is your receivers. Passes up the middle, incomplete as it skipped into Card's hands and out. So the Cougars once again go out on downs.
Number 24, Thomas Starr. Ball is incomplete. Trojans take over on down. Ball on about the Cougars 44-yard line.
Ball is going to be marked at the 44-yard line of the Cougars where the Trojans will take over. Diggs, still your quarterback, probably going to stay in the ball game with Hooker just to look to add to their record, leading the state in touchdown passes and receptions between the two of them. As it's a pitch out to number 33, keeping it on the ground as he was chased down from behind by number 66. Colby Sprayberry. As a freshman running back into the ball game, as I have a guy from Central Holmes here to the side assisting me with their names, as I was not supplied with a roster for the Central Holmes team. The freshman picked up about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and about 7 to go. We'll say a long 7. As the press box is saying it's 2nd down and 8. Give to the first man through. The big man, number 44, rumbled his way forward to about the 35-yard line. They thought the ball had popped loose, but it did not. It is marked down at the 35. So it's going to be 3rd down and about 2 to go. Cody Weeks on the tackle for the Cougars.
3rd down and 2 for the Trojans.
Hooker is on the near side, guarded by number 25, Josh Chandler. Diggs is your quarterback, gives it to number 32, Gary Austin, as he slithers his way forward for about a 5-yard gain, enough to pick up the 1st down, so it's going to be 1st down and 10 to go from about the 30-yard line.
The 32, Gary Austin, picks up the 1st down for the Trojans.
The Trojans get more of a ground attack now, just trying, I guess you could say, to run out the clock and get on the road quicker as they're up 28-6 with 9:38 and counting left here in the 3rd quarter. Diggs has already completed on 3 touchdown passes to his tight end and his receiver Hooker and to his running back Gary Austin, as who was the ball carrier just then for the Trojans. Jeremy Brown on the tackle after the gain of about 6 on the play. 2nd down and 4 to go. At the conclusion of this ball game, Nick and I will be naming player of the game, the Smokehouse and Barbecue Company player of the game for the Cougars. Of course, the MVP of the ball game for the Cougars will be receiving a free meal, compliments of Smokehouse Barbecue. Diggs is rolling out, looking for someone to pass to. Airs it up down the field, looking for his man. It was knocked down by number 25, Josh Chandler. May have got away with a little pass interference that time, but no flag was thrown on the play. So Diggs was looking to hook up once again with his man Hooker, but was not able to, as it brings up 3rd down and 4 to go. .32, Gary Austin gets the pitch. Good job by Josh Chandler coming in and hit him at the low behind the waist and just let the rest of the Cougars, Thomas Card and at number 55, Cody Weeks, come in and finish him off.
Gary Austin over there. Tackle number 25, Josh Chandler. Number 55, Cody Weeks. Number 51, Joel Black.
Fourth down and 4 to go. And flags fly. Delay of game is the call against the Trojans. Thanks there, Nick. I wasn't really paying attention that time and couldn't find the guy with the white hat on to see what the call was. Nick helping me out that time, my cameraman. On top of things tonight here at Billy D. Cook Field, Senior Appreciation Night. Cougars are trailing in the ball game 28-6 with 7:40 and counting left in the 3rd quarter. 4th down, 9 to go for the Trojans. Fade pattern ran out by Hooker. Pass is incomplete. Batted down by number 21, Brian Allen. So the Trojans go out on downs.
Pass is in for number 24, Hooker. Ball is incomplete. Coverage on the play with number 21, Brian Allen.
I'd like to remind everyone to stay tuned for Senior Appreciation Night. The seniors that will be leaving this Cougar team is going to be the Kenneth Tharp, Brian Allen, and Thomas Card, Matthew White, Joel Bryant, Brad Hubbard, and Bradley Campbell, along with, I believe that is it, as Rodney Brassfield was a senior, but is no longer with the team. Josh Chandler is your quarterback in the shotgun. Pass out to Tharp. As he just threw it a little too high over Tharp. Tharp trying to just make a, I guess you could say, acrobatic catch, juggling it that time. Was unable to pull it in. So it's going to be 2nd down and 10 to go. Probably a good thing that Tharp didn't pull that one in, or it would have been a loss of about 3 on the play. 2nd down and 10 to go. I'd like to remind everyone that Thursday here at Billy D. Cook Field, the junior high Cougars will be trying to go for a perfect season this year as they play the DeSoto Vikings in a bowl game. Here, of course, the Vikings as the Division II champions, and the Cougars set up a good screen for Kenneth Tharp. It's finally rode out of bounds by Hooker. Good job by the Cougars setting up that screen that time, as it appeared that you would think the Cougars was going to go for that eventually, as the Trojans just sent everybody in the kitchen sink each time the Cougars stepped back into the shotgun after Chandler. And that time the Cougars made them pay as they just set up a little screen to Tharp, and he was able to pick up a good, I'll say a good 35 to 40 yards. Josh Chandler in the shotgun position. Back, airs it out. Good throw. Looking down the field, Thomas Card. Card just let it slip through his arms that time as Josh Chandler laid it out. Perfect. You couldn't ask for it no better than that from your quarterback, as he just let him over the shoulders where only Card could get to it. If Card would have been able to pull that one in, it would have been another big reception by Card. It possibly could have had 6 written on top of it. So that pass is incomplete. It's going to be 2nd down and 10 to go. 7:12 left here in the 3rd quarter. Senior Appreciation Night at Billy D. Cook Field. And also tonight we'll be honoring the cheerleaders that are seniors this year. Natalie Bryant, Hassie Russell, Tiffany Newsom, Ashley Dismuke, and also the mascot, Casey Crump. Pass was incomplete. Intended for number 12, Kenneth Tharp. So it'll be 3rd down and 10 to go for the Cougars. It's Adam Gore bringing you the play-by-play tonight as Nick Thompson working his magic on the camera tonight at Billy D. Cook Field. I was expected to be joined by one more tonight to help me out with a little color, Marshall Browning, but he is a no-show. Josh Chandler back to pass, airs it out, but it's intercepted by Hooker. As it looked like he got caught in between Thomas Card or Brian Allen. It looked like Hooker got up trying to talk a little bit of smack to Card, but Card just walks away. So that is going to be where the Trojans take over about the 16-yard line, 1st down and 10. Diggs is still your quarterback for the Trojans. Hooker, the receiver leading in touchdown receptions this year, is to the near side. Diggs rolling out looking, decides to tuck it under and run this time as he could not find no one open. Joel Bryant missing the tackle, picking up some good blocks, and there's a big lick laid that time by Brian Allen, knocking Diggs out of bounds, but only after he gained about 18 yards on the play. So that's going to pick up the 1st down. Your score is 28-6. Cougars trailing by 22 with 6:49 left here in the 3rd quarter. I'd like to remind everyone that was watching the Vardaman Homecoming that you can order that if you would like by calling this station and talk to Bill or William or Ann one and ordering this. The number is 983-2801. Also, for you watching this Senior Appreciation, you can also order a tape from that. And it looked like the referee wanted to pull the flag out of his pocket that time, but couldn't find it. And as you can tell, Jeff King is upset with that as the referee was looking for it. And as I said, it looked like he couldn't find it. As it looked like a little offensive push-off that time by the Trojans, by the tight end. But pass is incomplete. So that's going to be 2nd down and 10 to go. In the press box, you might have heard, did not agree with that call either by the official. Diggs is your quarterback. Hooker is to the near side. That's a good play by number 55, Cody Weeks. I did not see who it was, Thomas Carter, Cody Weeks, who stripped that ball. But Jeremy Brown did a good job of being aware and following on top of it. Jeremy Brown doing a good job of being aware that time and being able to fall on top of the ball to pick up the fumble recovery. So there is a break for the Cougars. Good job that time by Jeremy Brown, and Thomas Card stripping the ball away from the runner from Central Holmes. Chandler is under center, gives to the 2nd man, Kenneth Tharp. Kenneth Tharp goes forward for the gain of about, appears to be about 4, so it'll be 2nd down, and I want to say a long 6 to go. You can say long 6, short 7. Of course, this is getting closer to the wrap-up of the football season. We'll be going into the postseason, of course, but also that's another thing bringing up that it's soon going to be basketball season. And that's got to be one thing you got to look forward to if you're a Cougars fan here. Still questionable about the guys' basketball team. I heard they having a little trouble getting guys to participate this year. Of course, the only one I know for sure that is playing is going to be D. Harrison. Of course, most of them are still playing football, so we'll see which ones come out after football season. Of course, Billy D. Cook's ready to have his girls set to make another run for the state championship. As they go into state, they'll tell how many consecutive years in a row Coach Cook having good programs here with the Lady Cougars. It's a timeout here at Billy D. Cook Field, and we're going to take them with them, and we'll be back after this. And we're back. Josh Chandler under center. Throws it up. Lobs it. Just did not put enough into it. Had Tharp wide open down the field if he could have threw it a little bit harder. Of course, he had a lot of pressure coming into him that time. He's just trying to get rid of it before giving up a sack. You know, looking ahead this week to some of the college football games we'll be talking about here when we get the next time out. The big matchup in a place that, well, me and Nick isn't going to visit very often because we're from the other school in the SEC, the school that has yet to lose a ball game with a 6-0 record. That would be your Mississippi State Bulldogs. But the big game is going to be between Alabama, Alabama, number 11, and your number 22, Ole Miss Rebels. Of course, Ole Miss is going to look for a big upset there, trying to pull it off. Of course, that'd be great for if you're a Mississippi State fan in a way, to take it, knock Alabama off the top of the SEC West and let us take over that sole possession. But, of course, that's going to be a big ball game at Vaught-Hemingway this weekend. But I don't believe Ole Miss is going to have enough to pull it out this weekend. I think the Heisman Trophy candidate, Sean Alexander, is going to be the man just taking and putting on a show in front of the live television audience this weekend. What do you think about that, Nick?
Well, I agree with that, Adam. I don't think Ole Miss is going to be able to pull it out against Alabama. I think if we want to take hold of the number one position in SEC West, we're going to have to do it ourselves. We can't rely on the Rebels and their lacking offense.
Spoken like a true Bulldog fan there from Nick Thompson. As you said, that's going to be a big matchup come November 13th in Alabama between State and Sean Alexander and his Tide. Of course, it's going to be a big thing to see if Sean Alexander can pull the big thing against such a defense as Mississippi State. Of course, we can't really look ahead that far to Alabama that quick. Of course, we have next weekend LSU coming to town for homecoming at Starkville. Of course, one of the big things is going to be if we can get Wayne Matkins back into playing. Of course, he had surgery on his finger that he dislocated and tore some tendons in against Auburn. Of course, speaking of that, we'll go back to the ballgame real quick. It's almost intercepted by Kenneth Tharp. Had it slapped away by the tight end. But going back to the point I was bringing up, what I was about to speak about was Matt Wyatt. Matt Wyatt has been scolded and laughed at for being his past performance for the Bulldogs. Really come back and redeemed himself against Auburn as he was able to step in and lead a comeback with 2 touchdown passes and 4 minutes left into the ball game at Auburn.
Yes, Adam, I remember back in the past when Wyatt was booed off the field for his sorry performance in a few games when he'd throw 3 or 4 interceptions a game. And he was booed off the field and he lost his starting position to the young upcoming Mackin. And Mackin has done pretty good here for us the past few years. And after getting hurt last game, though, Wyatt came in and did surprised everyone. And you've heard of the Shawshank Redemption. It was kind of the Wyatt redemption last week against Auburn as he was able to lead the Bulldogs back in a 2-minute drill at the end of the game to win the game for the Bulldogs.
Brian Allen put a shot on the running back from the Trojans that time as he come off the field slow, sort of in a stun shape right now. I don't know if we're getting a shot of him there on camera. Number 21 coming off the field after laying a big hit on the Trojan. That running back that time didn't want to come off the field, but the referee made him as number 72, Kevin Flemings. Hold on, let me check that out real quick. Number 72 is going to be Brandon Lofton checking into the ball game for the Cougars. And I believe we have a timeout on the field called by the officials. And with that, we'll take one with them. We'll be back after we pay some bills and run some words from our sponsors. And we're back as Diggs is looking to pass it down the field. Got a man wide open. And again, had another one slip through his hands. It had a big thank you there from Eric Tedder from the Cougar stands. High snap almost went over the punter's head that time, but he's able to get it off and get it away. As Josh Chandler's back calls a fair catch for the Cougars. So the Cougars will take over about the 34-yard line. The Cougars are taking over first down and 10 to go from about the 34-yard line. Josh Chandler is your quarterback. White and Tharp in the backfield. Chandler, quick dump pass to Card. Card somehow caught that ball as he was getting hit. Card refusing to go down. Card playing a good, strong ball game tonight here. Nick, obviously a candidate for our Smokehouse and Barbecue Company Player of the Game. Of course, another one you have to look at is going to be number 81. Jeremy Brown has really been all over the field tonight making tackles on defense. Of course, going back to Mississippi State, we have an off week this week at 6-0. We have a big ball game coming to Starkville. Homecoming weekend at Stark Vegas, the most exciting place in the SEC, but not according to ESPN. You know, Nick, that's going to be a big ball game come next weekend.
I do agree with that, Adam. You're not used to seeing the Bulldogs coming back for their homecoming and playing a team as well-rounded as LSU. However, this year LSU has been struggling, and I don't look for it to be as good as a game as it has been in the past few years. But I look for the Bulldogs to pull out the win and go into a 7-0 record into their next game and jump atop the SEC West.
You know, you think that's a big thing. They're always saying, comparing the Big Ten to the SEC, which one's the better one. Of course, the Big Ten right now has the upper hand with most teams in the top 10 with 3, the SEC only having 2. But you think Alabama and Mississippi State pick up the win these next 2 weeks, they both can crack the top 10 and set up for a top 10 matchup when the ball game rolls around to see who can take over the West.
Another interesting fact about college football is 2 states in the United States that have 3 teams in the top 25 this past week. Mississippi was one of them, with Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and USM all in the top 25. And there was also the state of Florida had 3 teams in the top 25, with Florida State, Florida, and Miami all in the top 25. So a big honor there for the state of Florida and for the state of Mississippi, able to have 3 teams, all in the top 25.
Yeah, that's true. That's 2 back-to-back penalties against the Cougars, which has backed them up 10 yards. So it's going to be first down and 20 to go for the Cougars. Josh Chandler steps under center. White and Tharp in the backfield. Pitch out is to Tharp. Tharp looking to make some running room. He's getting some. He's getting a key block there by Brian Allen. Tharp fighting for everything he can get. Good run by Tharp. Pick up of about 17 yards. I guess the Trojans really looking for the Cougars to pass this. It was first out of 20 situation, but Tharp doing a good job of running and fighting for everything he can get. I want to say a game of about 16, so it'll be second down and 4 to go. Second down and a long 4 to go for the Cougars. Josh Chandler, quarterback. White and Tharp in the backfield. Chandler's back to pass. A little dump pass out to Card. Card just running before he can get a hold of the ball. Slipped out of his hands. Pass was incomplete. So it's going to bring up third down and a long 4 to go for the Cougars. Third down and a long 4 to go. Josh Chandler steps under center. White and Tharp in the backfield. Brown and Allen is your receivers. Try it again. As Thomas Card appears that he was able to pull this one down, but it's going to be close to a first down. Looked like he had to get just past the 45-yard line. It's a bad spot. Looked like they ripped him off a yard, but it was enough for the first down. So the Cougars do pick up the first down, as they was not afraid to go back to Thomas Carter after he just dropped that pass. He was able to pull it in. Thomas Card doing a good job tonight catching passes. You know, he had that big reception on the 4th down and 7 to go that set up the only touchdown tonight for the Cougars. As Josh Chandler was able to sneak it in from about a yard out. Allen in motion. Chandler airs it out to Tharp, just throws it too long. Tharp had a step on his defender, but the pass was just off the mark, which is going to bring up 2nd down and 10 to go.
25, Chandler falls intended to number 12. Kenneth Tharp. Ball's incomplete.
Second down and 10 to go for the Cougars. Chandler quick pitch out to Tharp. Tharp cuts back from one tackle. Tries to spin his way forward. Looks like he picked up 2 yards, but it's still a loss on the play, so it appears it's going to be 3rd down and at least 12 or 13 to go for the Cougars.
Kenneth Tharp on sweep. Tackle made number 44, Stephen Green, and number 50, Daniel Parrish.
A minute 13 left in here in the 3rd quarter. Cougars trailing the ball game by 22, 28-6 is your score. It's going to be 3rd down and about 14 to go for the Cougars. Chandler is your quarterback. White and Tharp in the backfield. They move Card out to the wide receiver spot. Chandler drops back, airs it out to Card. Card goes up. And Card catches it after it gets hit. Thomas Card doing a good job tonight on the receiving end. It looked like it sort of surprised Card that time as he was able to pull that one in. The senior doing a good job tonight here at Senior Appreciation. That picked up the 1st down for the Cougars that time. .37 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter. Cougars trying to move the ball down the field to put some more points on the board. 28-6 is your score. 30 seconds and counting left in the 3rd quarter. Chandler is your quarterback. White, Tharp in the backfield. Brown and Allen is your receivers. Quick pass out to Allen. Allen tries to cut back across field, but nothing doing as the Trojans swarm the ball after the Cougars gain only about 1 on the play that time. I think that's going to be the last play of the 3rd quarter. 8 seconds left. I believe that is going to be the case. Cougars are going to go into the 4th quarter, losing 28-6 here Senior Appreciation Night, and we'll be back after this. And this starting in the 4th quarter, Josh Chandler rolls out, and he gets smoked by number 28. Bear Roseman. Lucky for the Cougars that his arm went forward, ruled an incomplete pass. Joining me now this 4th quarter on top of the Cougars stand is, I guess you could say, one of the Cougars' great quarterbacks, if you will, Mr. Eric Tedder. Eric, we was talking earlier tonight about the matchup between Alabama and Ole Miss. What do you think about this ball game coming into Vaught Hemingway this weekend?
Even though Ole Miss has got the home field advantage, I got to take Alabama. Alabama's just too tough of a team for Ole Miss.
So Tedder is going with the unanimous decision up here from the couple of Bulldog students and fans. Of course, Eric, you know Mississippi State has a week off, and next week's going to be a big ball game against LSU, homecoming weekend in Start Vegas.
I'll have to take LSU in that, even though I'm a Dogs fan. Bulldogs just can't do nothing with LSU anytime.
And there is an interception by number 32 for the Trojans, still on his feet, getting some good blocking. Number 32, Gary Austin, with the interception that time. So Tedder going for an upset in this ball game come homecoming. Of course, you have to give him credit for what he is saying. LSU has been, I guess you could say, a nuisance to MSU in the past years, pulling up upsets and simply blowing them out of the water also. So you're saying that State's going to go 6-1, and Alabama's going to take sole possession of the SEC West. Of course, you know, if State was able to pick up the win and also Alabama, that could set up a top 10 matchup for the SEC West. Matchup coming over 13th between Alabama and State, which should be a doozy, as Sean Alexander is one of the top runners for the Heisman.
Yes, you're right there. Alabama's got too tough of a running game. Mississippi State, they're a streaky team. They play good sometimes, don't play as good as others. They've just been lucky enough not to lose so far.
I don't know if you watched the ball game this weekend against State and Auburn. You know, many, as we were talking about earlier, Matt White sort of been the joke on campus. He has 23 interceptions his season at Mississippi State. As Nick said, it was a White redemption. So you have to give credit to Matt White stepping in with the 2-minute drill and pulling the ball game back for the Bulldogs to win.
Yes, as far as quarterbacks at Mississippi State, I'd take Matt White over Wayne Madkin any day. He's got more experience. He's more calm of a quarterback. Madkin, he's too young and too inexperienced to really be good.
Okay, going back to the fact you're talking about Alabama's running game, you have to give credit to State's defense. Even though State's defense didn't look too good against Auburn, you have to give them credit for what they held Auburn's running backs to. Total of, I believe, 58 to 48 yards for the whole ball game.
Yes, if you're going to beat Mississippi State, your best bet's through the air. They got a real good running defense, but their pass defense ain't what it should be with Robertson out for the year.
Of course, that is a big hurt that time as Smoot is taking his spot, and it was a fumble on the play picked up by the Cougars, Cody Weeks. So good job here by the Cougars, of course, keeping you with the action here on Billy D. Cook Field, talking with Eric Tedder. Of course, you're saying that State's pass defense needs a little bit tuning up. That could lead to a good, exciting ball game come whenever Kentucky comes visiting Starkville. Of course, Kentucky playing Hal Mummy football. Nothing but throw, throw, throw. They might accidentally run it every once in a while if the quarterback has to scramble. But other than that, it's going to be 99% of their offense throwing.
Yes, you're right there. They've done it for many years. Although I don't think Kentucky's good in there now since they lost Couch. But they might do something with State, but I don't know.
Of course, we'll talk about some Ole Miss games here. What's going to be the key for the Ole Miss to maybe ruffle Alabama's feathers and pull off an upset this weekend? If there were one thing they'll have to focus on, of course, stopping Sean Alexander, but on the offensive end, they really have to pick it up.
Yes, Romero's going to have to settle down, complete at least 60% of his passes. Deuce McAllister is going to have a 100-yard game. Joe Gunn's going to have a 100-yard game. They're going to have to play complete football.
Yeah, as you're saying, Ole Miss going to play at the best they could possibly play against this Alabama team. Of course, Alabama, I was talking about Sean Alexander in a race for the Heisman. Of course, a big ball game here. Romero Miller's old alma mater, if you will, Shannon, is taking on the battle of undefeateds between Houston and Shannon tonight. Of course, being played right now. I believe we're covering that tonight for the Houston cable. I'm looking for this ball game to be good at the beginning, but Shannon just be able to pull it out by 2 touchdowns at the end.
I won't say it'll be that much. I think it's going to be a much closer ball game. Houston is mainly a running team. Shannon's mainly a passing team. They kind of cross out each other. I think it'll be maybe a 3-point ball game.
Of course, that is looking at one of the teams that's probably going to win this ball game, go on to the playoffs and be successful. You know, Eric, speaking of Houston, it's not very often that when you move down a division in A that you move into a tougher division as Houston's done. They have to face both Shannon and Amory this season.
Yes, that's true. They have got into a tough division. Shannon and Amory, they are powerhouses, have been for the last 5-6 years, and Houston's going to have to play some great ball to do good in the playoffs.
Of course, also tonight we have Bruce visiting Coffeyville. You know, Coffeyville sort of in the past teams would look over this team as not being that good, but Coffeyville is a physical and really a much improved team from last year. So I'm looking for Bruce to come out ahead, but also not to come out as much as people think they should.
True. Coffeyville is a very physical ball team. If you come out of this game unhurt real bad, you've done great. It don't matter whether you win or lose as far as the points go. You need to come out of this game healthy.
Josh Chandler taking a shot that time as he tried the quarterback sneak. He's just short of the first down, so the Trojans are going to take over on downs. Also tonight, Eric, Calhoun City has Hamilton. You know, Calhoun City has a 4-3 record on paper due to 2 forfeits, but on the field they're 6-1. That right there shouldn't be a close ball game as Hamilton, I believe, tied Thrasher, which is playing Vardaman tonight at their homecoming. You know, your stomping grounds over there in that neck of the woods. So what do you think about this Calhoun City-Hamilton ball game tonight?
Calhoun City ought to be able to easily win that ball game, but you don't want to look over Hamilton. Vardaman went into Hamilton, kind of looked over them, and just barely pulled the ball game out.
Yep. And also tonight we was talking about Vardaman has Thrasher at homecoming. We was over there taping the homecoming festivities at Vardaman, and we looked at this Thrasher team. We was thinking maybe it might be just a few of their little junior varsity players moving up on their team as far as not being the whole team, but after it was all said and done, that was the team. And I don't know if many people have seen me on film. I would be considered a rather large player on their team. So right now, Odie Armstrong is probably having a heyday tonight in Vardaman.
Yes, Thrasher's always been a small team. They have trouble getting players. I say Odie Armstrong ought to run for 200, 300 yards, however many he wants to tonight.
Speaking of running, there is number 32, Bear Roseman, running it in, the first rushing touchdown of the ball game for the Trojans. That was a good 41-yard scamper that time by Roseman. No, check that. It's going to be Gary Austin running the ball that time. It's going to be Roseman trying the PAT. You know, he's been perfect on the night tonight, 4 for 4. So we'll see if he can make it 5 for 5. Eric, this Cougars team really faced a tough team tonight. The quarterback for Central Holmes is leading the state in touchdown passes, and the receiver number 24 is leading the state in touchdown receptions. You have to really give credit to the Cougars coming into this ball game. They was able to move the ball on tough defense tonight.
Yes, you're right, but they're just out-talented tonight. Central Holmes has too much of a complete football team for Calhoun to play with them.
And another thing, one of the things that's really not been an issue here at Calhoun Academy has been injuries. Of course, one of the major injuries, I guess you could say, would be at the hand of yours whenever you was playing. But really, other than that, there's really been no true injuries. Of course, this year the Cougars have been injured plague as Rusty Stegall and Pepper Watts is out for the season. Of course, Rusty Stegall questionable about ever playing football again. But that's one thing that really hurt the Cougars this year has been injuries.
Yes, and the Cougars have trouble getting players to come out and play football. And when you have 15, 16 ball players, you can't practice real well. So it's just a hard thing to do.
Another thing, going back to the Vardaman, you know, they picked up 2 key losses after, even though they beat Smithville, they picked up 2 losses to Calhoun City and Faulkner. Faulkner really being a surprise team to me this year, as I did not see what was going on. Maybe Nick could help us out on this one.
Somebody from Calhoun Academy laid a block on somebody from the other team, and it looked like Goldberg was spearing somebody in the ring, and I don't know how he got up from that.
Yeah, we're back. We don't want to take any away from this Cougar team as we're talking about other teams tonight. Of course, we want to give them their due respect that they deserve. It's Senior Appreciation Night here at Billy D. Cook Field. Your score is 35-6, 7:21 left here in the fourth quarter. You know, one thing that's going to be a problem for Vardaman is the 2 losses is really going to hurt them coming into the playoffs. Another thing you really want to see out of Vardaman tonight is Kenneth Scott able to get his passing game on tonight against this weak Thrasher team. You know, that'd be a good thing for him to get some confidence built up and complete some few passes and be able to trust in his passing game once again.
I'll tell you the secret to killing Vardaman's passing game. Hit Kenneth Scott one time. He's a very shaky quarterback. He don't settle down real well in the pocket, and you shake him up one time, that's it.
Of course, that's going to be key for Vardaman to get their passing game on, as we've seen against Calhoun City. Calhoun City just keyed on Odie Armstrong the whole night, as Vardaman, I believe, may have completed 3 or 4 passes. Really didn't open it up for Odie and put too much on Odie's shoulders for him to handle. The junior running back's doing a great job over at Vardaman. Looked like he was going to give the touchdown record a run for the money this year, as he was averaging early 4 touchdowns per game. That's almost nearly intercepted that time by number 25, broken up by Thomas Card. Going back to Odie Armstrong, the junior's doing a great job. Probably open up some college's eyes already.
Yes, Odie is a complete ball player. He's a very good ball player. And Vardaman is putting too much pressure on him to carry the team. They've got a lot of other talented ball players, and they need to use them.
And that is true. Of course, you have to give credit to Odie Armstrong for what he's done this season for the Rams. Of course, the Rams have got the toughest part of their season behind them right now, and coming out not too well, 0 out of 2. But I believe if Calhoun City and Vardaman was to meet again in the playoffs, Vardaman would be had the upper hand, as Calhoun City would almost look over them as they really had an easy ball game against Vardaman. But I believe Vardaman might be ready, fired, and come out and maybe take that one away from Calhoun City in the postseason.
Yes, I believe if they run together again in the playoffs, it'll be a lot different story. Vardaman will be a lot more fired up to play. Calhoun City won't be as fired up to play, thinking, well, we can beat them again easy, and it'll be a different story.
You know, example of beating a team again easy was this past weekend. Of course, we're talking as if Vardaman should have an easy night against Thrasher. Last week, Columbus comes up and upsets the number 1 team in the state and number 11 team in the nation in South Panola. Really big upset there.
Yes, don't ever look over any team, because any team can beat you on any day. That's why this is a game.
Of course, Louisiana Tech showing that against Alabama also with their passing game, as that's the loss to Alabama suffered there. Of course, one thing people are looking at is the difference between schedules between Alabama and Mississippi State. Alabama faced Florida and upset Florida in Gainesville, stepping up, I believe, a 24-game winning streak in Gainesville. So, right as you said, you cannot look over a team in any shape, form, or fashion. They'll come up and get you in the end.
That's true. You can never look over anybody. Just like Florida found out with Alabama, that game wasn't even supposed to be close. Ended up, it was a lot closer the other way.
And I believe we have a timeout on the field. And with that timeout, we will go to a break. And we're back here at Billy D. Cook Field. Senior Appreciation, Central Holmes has the ball, first down and 10 to go. Gibis is the first man up the middle, fighting forward. I don't know if the referees might have blew the whistle a little early that time, as number 44 is able to squeak out of the defender's hands that time. As we take a shot of the Cougar cheerleaders there, you see Natalie Bryant, Hassie Russell, Ashley Dismuke, and Tiffany Newsom and Casey Crump, the mascot, all senior cheerleaders, part of Senior Appreciation tonight. So it's second down and 6 to go. We was talking to Eric Cheddar. We'd like to thank Eric for coming up here and talking to us tonight. Give again is to number 44 off to the left side as he picked up the first down. I'd like to remind everyone to stay tuned for Senior Appreciation following the ball game tonight. Also, I'd like to remind everyone to come out and support the junior high Cougars that is going for a perfect season this Thursday against DeSoto. The DeSoto winning Division 2A junior high district as the Cougars won Division Single A. So both teams undefeated this season, looking to see who would finish the season without a mark on the losing hand. As number 44 rumbles forward again, looks like a gain of about 10, and that is it. It's going to be first down and goal to go for the Trojans.
In a start, number 24, number 7.
And Nick, it's time we start considering people for player of the game here. Smokehouse and Barbecue Company players of the game. You know, you have to look at the strong performance by Thomas Card on the offensive end, catching majority of the passes tonight and really setting up the touchdown run for the Cougars as he was able to make a big 4th down and 7 play for the Cougars, bringing the ball down to about the 1 yard line to set up the touchdown quarterback keeper by Josh Chandler. Also, you have to look on the defensive end of Thomas Card, also doing a good job there. But along with him would be Cody Weeks on the line, being able to clog up the holes there. And also along with him, number 81, Jeremy Brown, really being all over the field tonight, making the stops and being in on just about every tackle that's ran to his side of the field. Speaking of which, there was a tackle made by number 24, Thomas Card. Nick, have you seen any more performance out of anyone tonight that we might consider for player of the game? Of course, you have to give credit to number 25, Josh Chandler, stepping into a quarterback position and throwing a pretty good ball game. Of course, he's pointing out Kenneth Tharp doing a good job on receiving and running tonight also. So you have a lot of good performances out of the Cougars tonight. Of course, they're playing a well-talented team in the Central Holmes Trojans, as number 18 just ducks his head and dives in for the touchdown to add to the score. Number 18, Diggs, he's the quarterback for the Trojans. He's leading the state in touchdown passes this season. And his receiver, number 24, Doug Hooker, leading the state in touchdown receptions. As number 28, Bear Roseman, trying to make it 6 for 6 on the night on PATs, and he does, not missing one tonight here against the Cougars. And with that, that's 42 to 6 is your score with 2:51 left here in the fourth quarter. And we'll come back. We'll name our Smokehouse Barbecue Company player of the game. And we're back as Robeson is set to tee it off for the Trojans. It's a low, good kick back to White, the senior for the Cougar, Matthew White, headed up the middle, running full steam, running over people as he goes. It brings the ball out just past the 30-yard line. We'll say about the 30. Looks like they're going to mark it about the 31-yard line. And Nick, I believe me and you decided to name Thomas Card our player of the game, Smokehouse and Barbecue Company's player of the game. Thomas has done a good job tonight on the offensive end, catching passes. Really, until he caught a few passes that actually like it surprised him that he was able to come away with them. Thomas Card doing a good job on the night. Of course, also doing a good job on defense is Thomas Card as he's in on some tackles. We have to give credit also to number 81, Jeremy Brown, who is also doing a good job tonight on defense. And on the other offensive end, Kenneth Tharp did a good job. He was originally the quarterback, stepping in as running back. Had an average night on running as Josh Chandler, the quarterback, airs it out for number 80, Paul Brown. First time the ball has been thrown his direction tonight. Josh Chandler doing a good job also stepping in as quarterback as he moved in from his wide receiver position. This is the last home ball game for the Cougars of this season. Senior Appreciation Night. 2:15 and counting left here in the fourth quarter. 42 to 6 is your score. So congratulations to Thomas Card, your Smokehouse and Barbecue Company player of the game. He picked up him a free meal over at the Smokehouse. I'm pretty sure he'll be glad to have that. You know, Nick, I thought about naming me and you the player of the game so we can go by and pick us up a free meal. The Smokehouse and Barbecue Company always serving good food. And a quick pass intended for Jeremy Brown, picked off by number 88 for the Trojans. Yeah, that has been the story tonight for the Trojans. Started off real good as they moved the problem down, no problem. Sort of stalled there for a minute, was able to pick it up and play hard this second half.
The Cougars have definitely, they've not really had a big problem driving the ball down the field. They just can't get it into the end zone. They've only visited the end zone one time today, and it's just been some bad breaks, some missed catches. As you see there, the interception thrown, and that's going to end their hopes for that drive. And now back to you, Adam.
First down and 10 to go. Diggs is your quarterback. Lucky he had a little miscommunication on that handoff there as he was able to fall back on top of it. So it's covered up once more by Central Holmes. It'll be a loss of about 2 or 3 on the play. We'll say we'll loss of 3, be second down and 13 to go.
Don't forget about senior appreciation in that.
I'd like to invite everyone to stay tuned for senior appreciation here at Calhoun Academy, as the Cougars will be bidding farewell to the senior football players. This is the last time to play on Billy D. Cook Field. And again is number 44. Really had a good ball game tonight. He's averaging at least 7 to 10 yards per carry. As it appears, Kenneth Tharp made the tackle that time. Once again, our Smokehouse and Barbecue Company player of the game is Thomas Card. Had a big night in receptions and on the defensive end. Well, I guess we could say our co-player of the game on defense would be Jeremy Brown, and on offense would be Kenneth Tharp and Josh Chandler doing a good job on offense also. First down and 10 to go. Central Holmes takes the knee with just 20 seconds left in the ballgame. They're going to let the clock run out. Cougars gave it a run there. Looked like they was going to be able to storm back into the ballgame late or early in the second quarter, but the 6-2 Central Holmes Trojans proved to be too much for the Cougars tonight. The Cougars fall to 3-6 as they see their playoff bids die tonight. As Central Holmes moves to 7-2 Yes, sir.
First thing I'll say, I want to thank my assistant coaches, Coach Williams and Coach Ferguson. I don't know what I'd do without them. They've been a big help. I sure do want to thank them for helping me. I appreciate it. Next, I want to recognize somebody who helped us a lot this year dealing with our injuries. And I don't know what we've done without her. Miss Debbie Law. Sidelines, keeping up stat keeper Lauren Smith. We have 7 seniors. Did a good job for us. There's 2 that's been here with me all 3 years I've been here. I think they've done a lot of hard work and I appreciate it. First senior is Joe O'Brien. Next senior is Thomas Carr. Next one is Brad Hubbard. Matthew White. Next senior is Kenneth Tharp. Bradley Campbell. And Brian Allen. I want to thank the other members of the team. I appreciate the effort they give forth. We still got one game to play. We're going to give it all we got and go after that. Ms. Burnett, your cheerleader. Huh?
We got something for cheerleaders. Natalie. Tiffany. Ashley. And Hassie. And this lady's not a cheerleader, but she's a real inspiration around here. Our cougar, Casey.
We're going to present all the coaches with the balls and all the seniors. Let's give these coaches a hand.
I wish the desk could be at the end of the year instead of right in the middle of the year. Seen a lot done and a lot kept. I can say this has been one of my best years that I've been in the school system. I got some good kids. I got some that sometimes, you know, they get teed off at me. They have another word for it, but in the long run, I feel like that they understand what we try to do here and what we want to represent us. And I've been in a lot of these a long time. And you hate to see them go, but we know they got to go out there in that world, that cruel world, and it's getting a lot crueler every day that we live. And, you know, I'm going to say this, and I'm down, and it's down deep. If we don't make a change, you seniors, you juniors, and you sophomores, freshmen, whatever, with your attitude is what it takes to life, we're so careless, and I'm using we're so careless that we're going to let it get away from us. And I'm a firm believer in God gave us our bodies, our soul, and He gave it for us to use the best of our ability. And a lot of times, and it's no disgrace to you, your parents, or anybody, we don't do that. And we need to stand up for what's right. I see so much going on that shouldn't be going on. And I'm asking you parents to really get after it and think about this situation. For some of you got some young ones. I'm not saying these folks are bad people. I love them to death. But I want them to know when they go out in that world now, there's going to be a lot of different things that you're going to face, and it's going to be worse than losing a game. I'm going to tell you that. And I have full confidence in you that you're going to face it and meet that match. But sincerely, we all need to think about what this world is today. And let's work to improve it. At the end of you seniors, if I had $1 million to give each one of you, I would, if that would make you happy for the rest of your life. But you've got to work for what you do. You've got to work hard. Don't give up and get with it. On behalf of the board, the students, the faculty, I appreciate you deeply, and thank you. Casey, you have something to say, I'll let you start. You a cheerleader? Man, I don't have any.
Go for it, Captain. All the moms that helped and did send appreciation on that, and especially y'all, that was really nice, and we thank you for that. We appreciate Miss Burnett for being there for us and being our friend and helping us out when we needed her. And Coach Coop and Coach King. I know sometimes, cheerleaders in this school, it's not exactly what he wants to hear, but I mean, we love those guys and we really, appreciate all of them. So.
Anybody else got anything to say?
I don't mean to step forward, but I want to thank the fans for supporting us on all these games. It's meant a lot. And to the lawyers, supporters, and advisors, and folks like that, to name a few, we thank y'all very much from the bottom of the heart for sticking in there with us. Thank you.
I'd really like to thank Coach King. I know Brad probably would too. I mean, a lot of everybody else has been around here. Coach King stuck me and Brad, and he could probably just hung us in the tree and killed us because we didn't do what he wanted us to do. And we probably gave him something that he didn't need. But we need to pray for Coach King because he's got to have surgery because we killed him through the season. And Coach Grady for sticking with us, and Coach Williams too, making us run hard when we really didn't want to. We appreciate that. Last but not least, been good to us too. Would you please bow your heads? Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for all these people gathered here.
We're here with, I guess you can call co-defensive players in the game right here with Cody Weeks and Jeremy Brown. Jeremy had a big ball game night. We called your name many times. He was all over the field. He had one big fumble recovery there in the ball game. So how did you feel about tonight's game?
I believe we could have done a little bit better. We made some penalties that we shouldn't have done. In the long run, I believe we played a good hard game. The other team just came out better.
And Cody, you right now, really and truly, you did a great job on the line tonight. You got in the backfield a lot, stopped some. You got in a bunch of big key tackles, and you got a quarterback sack during the ball game. What was your outlook coming into the ball game, and how do you feel afterwards?
Well, I think we played a good hard game, but we just didn't have the pass coverage. We'll have to work on that and try to do our best next week.
Of course, y'all looked good against the team that had the #1 rated quarterback in passing touchdowns and the top receiver in catching touchdowns. Y'all moved the ball well. Of course, y'all on the line did y'all's job tonight with blocking and opening up some holes for the running. And the passing game really and truly surprised me with Thomas Carr tonight. Did a good job on catching, but you guys got one on the next. Really sort of a bitter rivalry here at the Academy. I know you two are not familiar with that, but it's been a long time rivalry, and really and truly, the Academy would like to come out with a win just to end the season.
Yeah, we're gonna try to start practice Monday, work real hard, see if we can't pull out a win for the last game.
And that's it with that on man. Cody and Jeremy Code, defensive players of the game, and we'll be back. We'll get an interview with our Smokehouse and Barbecue Company player of the game, Thomas Card and Coach Jeff Key. We're talking to our Smokehouse and Barbecue Company player of the game, Thomas Card. Thomas, you had a good night on receiving the ball on the offensive end.
Well, it started last week with the win against Tunica. We had a lot of injuries and we had to go away from our running game. I had to be the one to step up and catch the ball, and that's what I did tonight.
It looked like a few of them passes surprised you that you actually held on to them when it's come down. You did as I said, you took a couple of shots when catching the ball, but you was able to hold on to them.
Well, luck was on my side, and that's all that we needed was a little luck that we hadn't had all year.
Another thing that made you player of the game, you had a big defensive night also all over the field, along with Jeremy Brown tonight, just getting in on every tackle just about.
Well, Dudley played real well, and the whole defense, everybody had to step up because of the injuries that we've had through the year. And all the seniors want to play real well because it was their last home ball game.
Of course, you go on the road next week to your rival, Winona Christian, so that's going to be a big ball game also to end the season.
Yeah, they've got it out for us. We put a big stomping on them last year, and we just hope to, play good and come out with a W and hope to end the season 4-5.
All right, and of course, you got a free meal coming for you after this, so at the Smokehouse Barbecue Company.
Well, that's the main reason I did this interview, for the free meal, so I guess I'll be there tomorrow to pick that baby up.
So that's the key to the ball games here. You let them get a free meal, everybody's going to go out and play their best and try to get that free meal from Smokehouse and the Barbecue Company. We'll be back with Jeff King after this. We're here with head coach Jeff King. Coach, you faced a real tough team tonight. The quarterback led the state in touchdown passes, and the number 24, the receiver, led in touchdown receptions. But you came really trying to look at this ball game in a bad way. Your offense was able to move the ball on this defense, even though you was lacking a few key injuries on your offense. So you have to look at it in a good way going for this Winona ball game.
You're right, Adam. I was very pleased with the effort. You're right, the receiver and quarterback's very good, and I thought we did a decent job. We just got some different people in the defensive backfield with our injuries, and it really hurt. But I thought we played well and moved the ball, like you said, and blocked well. The injuries have got us playing out of position, but we're going to keep fighting toward Winona next week.
Another thing we're really not used to seeing out of y'all tonight, y'all pass the ball more, probably due to the injuries to Rusty Stegall, but also Thomas Carr had a good ball game catching the ball.
You're right. We threw the ball more tonight than we have all year up to tonight, probably. But it was due to Thomas's catching the ball well, Josh Chandler's throwing the ball well, and we're getting some good pass blocking. That's when we decided to see if we could throw it. And I thought we did well throwing the ball.
As you said, you had a lot of key injuries and switching up a lot of players and did not play in the spots they was used to. You have to look at it. They actually did a good job this tonight with Kenneth Tharp running the ball, and then you had, as you said, Josh Chandler passing the ball and hard catching it.
Yeah, we did. We moved Kendall from quarterback to tailback, and he's done a good job. Moved Josh from wide receiver to quarterback. He did a good job. And Thomas has really come on catching the ball. He had a good week last week. He had 7 catches last week. Probably had 4 or 5 tonight. So those 3 that changed positions done a real fine job for us the last 2 weeks.
Of course, you go on the road next week to Winona Christian, which that's going to be sort of a rival, but really a big game just to end the season with a win and end on the.
That would be a very big win for us because we only have 7 seniors, and we'll have the bulk of our team back, plus a real good junior high team coming. So we'd like to work for next year and end on a good positive note with a win at Winona.
And that's another thing I want to bring up, talking to you about the ball game Thursday night with your junior high team. That should be a big ball game. You know, nothing. I mean, it's not saying anything bad about the past Cougar performances, but this is really a rare treat for a junior high team to go undefeated here and have a chance to finish the season without a loss.
Yeah, you're right, Adam. Our junior high's been phenomenal this year. They played real well every game. We're 7-0. DeSoto's 7-0. They're going to roll in here. They got a real good, fine football team. Saw some of them last night. They're going to be hard to beat, but we're here at home in our bowl game. We're determined to be undefeated this year.
And of course, we'll be covering that here from Calhoun Academy next Thursday on TV7. Coach, good ball game tonight, even though you did not come on the winning end, but a lot of positive things to build on next week going into Winona.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate y'all coverage.
And this is Adam Gore for Nick Thompson saying good night, and we'll see y'all next week.